Today we will be discussing programming languages. Just as there are many languages that humans can speak, there are many programming languages that computers can use to communicate. One of these languages is Python, a programming language frequently used on the Raspberry Pi, a single-board computer discussed in the previous video. Python has many benefits and is a good place to start when learning code, as it is easy to learn and looks more like English than many other coding languages. It's versatile and can be used for a variety of projects, powerful and therefore used by big corporations as well as for smaller projects, continually improved, and commonly used by many people, leading to many free resources and codes being available online. It is also important to note that Python is not the only programming language, as there are many others which each have pros and cons, as some are better suited for specific purposes, such as speed, appearance, or compatibility with specific programs. Therefore, it is important to consider the needs of the user when selecting a language. Learning a computer language takes lots of time and practice, just as learning a spoken language does. When learning a foreign language, there are several key components to consider, namely, the meaning of the words that are used, or semantics, and the way that they are structured into sentences, the syntax. The same is true in coding. It is important to know what specific keywords or jargon to use to obtain a desired goal or response. If someone were to say, "Please ratify the green stuff," when they actually meant, "Please pass the broccoli," those around them would surely be confused, and they likely won't get the broccoli without further clarification. Yes, ratify can be a synonym for pass, but only if talking about enacting legislation, which is clearly not the meaning intended here. Similarly, referring to broccoli as green stuff is not specific enough, especially if there's also a bowl of lettuce or a jar of relish available nearby, leaving it unclear as to what green item the person is requesting. The same idea can be applied to coding. There are certain words and phrases that can be used to give a particular command, but if different words are used, the computer will not be able to interpret the command, resulting in an error message. It is also essential to write the code following a structure that the computer will understand. This is referred to as syntax, and includes the order of statements that are written, as well as the punctuation that is used. For example, the sentence, "Only Jen said she had breakfast," is different from saying, "Jen only said she had breakfast," and different still from, "Jen said she only had breakfast." This goes to show that the order and placement of words really does make a difference in meaning, and even subtle differences can be a big deal. Proper punctuation is also key, and can have a similar effect on understanding the meaning of a sentence, as shown through the placement of a comma in the sentence, "Let's eat, Grandpa," which makes the difference between a nice meal with your grandfather and cannibalism, or it could result in a sentence that doesn't make any sense at all. Therefore, seemingly small details should not be overlooked. When writing code, the order in which statements are written and the punctuation that is used is essential for the computer to understand and carry out a command. If something is not correct in the way a piece of code is written, it will result in a syntax error, which must be corrected before the computer will be able to execute the code. This is one way in which Python is easier to learn than some other coding languages. Although it is still essential to pay attention to syntax, there are fewer syntax-related details and required punctuation in Python than in other, more complex coding languages, such as Java. It is also written in a way that is easier to read and interpret, as Python looks more like English when reading it than other coding languages. However, the key thing to remember when writing any code is to always follow the rules of the language. Paying attention to proper text and punctuation is so necessary, as the computer is not able to infer meaning and skip over an error, like a person can do if someone misspeaks in a conversation. Although there is not time in this video to dive extensively into the details of the Python language, here are a few commonly used commands that are helpful to know. The first is print. This allows you to display specified text output on a screen, such as printing "Hello World," as shown in this example. The next, if-else statements. These allow for multiple possible responses, depending on the conditions defined by the if-else statement. In this example, if an ultrasonic sensor detects something within 20 centimeters, the computer will print a warning of an obstacle detected. If there is nothing within 20 centimeters, it will print all clear on the screen. Next is a while loop. This allows for a particular command to run indefinitely, as long as the condition remains true. The loop will stop only when the code is interrupted or the condition is no longer true. In this example, it will continue to print a warning of possible ice until the temperature rises above freezing. And last is a comment. Any text following the hash mark is read as a comment. This can be used to leave a note to yourself or other coders, or to temporarily remove a piece of code from the section of code to be run. This is only the beginning of what can be done with Python. Because it is a commonly used programming language, be sure to check out the many free resources available online when learning to code in Python.